3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Unlearned and Reborn, a podcast where old habits are unlearned and new ones are reborn. Hey! Welcome back. It's me, your host, Shania Alyse, and welcome to Unlearned and Reborn podcast. How you feeling? How you doing? Listen, I have been loving the podcast. Did y'all listen to last week's scrumptious episode where I talked about being in survival mode? Man, it was amazing. If I do say so myself, it was beautiful. Talking about how survival mode can be both both dormant and active. If you don't know what I'm talking about, no hard feelings. Pause and go watch episode 26, okay? Because now we on episode 27. So I'm going to need you to play a little catch up, okay? Listen, for y'all that are new to the podcast or even the loyal listeners, my birthday is March 15th. Okay, clap it up for your girl. I'm dropping my Cash App on March 15th so y'all can love and support me monetarily. Yes, I'm going to be the big 2-7. So what better way to celebrate 2-7 than be doing my 27th episode? Give it up for the pod. Hello. How y'all doing? Yes. And this one is a goodie as always. Today I want to talk about growing pains of adulthood. And it still falls in line with this season's theme of healing your inner child. So I've broken this down into 5 categories. Y'all know I like to do numbers and break stuff down. So if you got a pen and a paper, go ahead and get that ready. Or if you have to run it back, understand, I'm going to wait for you. Okay, you ready? And if you're not, just press pause. And when you press play, it's almost like I still waited for you, Okay, so category number 1, where I want to touch on growing pains, is the growing pain of family. Listen, y'all, as a child, you had that nickname. Mine was Buddha. Little fun fact about me. So if somebody's calling me Buddha, I know that they know me from a little butterball Shania. Okay, your girl had rolls under the rolls. My mom was putting baby powder under the crevices of my belly so that I wouldn't smell like spoiled milk. So yes, I was a little Michelin tire baby. I was. But sometimes family can really hinder your growth. Let's talk about it. Like, they're used to seeing you in that little light. They're used to seeing little you with your pigtails and your braids and your little glasses. I'm bringing y'all back to the 90s, or some of y'all even further than that, and that's okay. That's your business. But they are so used to seeing you in that light that when you become an adult, I feel like some family members have a hard time of letting you go, letting you grow, letting you evolve into the adult you, because they're like, girl, or I remember when you was doing this, or you just like your daddy, you just like your mama. Yep, if it's your aunt, yep, my sister, she used to do the same. Yep, yes, your mom used to do the same thing. Your dad used to do the same thing. And it's like, have you ever felt yourself trying to vocalize your dream to them, right? And they're like, oh, are you sure? Or they just kind of start putting all these little doubts and all these little opinions in your head. And you're like, auntie or mama or sister, brother, I was just trying to tell you that I wanted to go to med school to be a heart surgeon. You're telling me all the things about statistics, this, and do you know how much debt you're about to be in? Like, you're not even going to be able to own a car or this and that. Listen, y'all know, change the situation, insert your family member's name. It's like that. And that's such a growing pain. Like, that is a hard thing to get out of, especially if you are family oriented. I would say I'm family oriented. I love my family. But even being married, I had to learn how to grow out of the opinions of family because I was my own person. I am an adult now. I don't have to, do things a certain way because I'm afraid, oh, you're going to get mad at me, or I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get disciplined. Like, no. And that hurts to grow out of, because unfortunately, depending on how mature the family member is, you may outgrow the whole relationship as a whole. Like, listen, those family members, you like, nah, I don't really talk to her. Like, I don't really talk to him. I don't, or the aunts. It's always the aunt in the family that's like, I don't fool with him. I don't fool with him. And it's like, auntie, that's your brother. What is going on? But, and I want to even point out, there's a difference between protecting and preventing. Let me give you an example. Protection looks like you go off to college, you go out of state because you want to, spread your wings and fly. And your parents are like, make sure that when you're filling out your paperwork that you put us as your emergency contact. So if something goes down, we can pull up right away. Put us down so we can be there. Okay, I feel like that's protection. You want to make sure that my well-being is covered, and that I am not out here in these streets by myself. And that if I need y'all, you're literally a call away. The school has your number and I do too. Cool. Now, prevention looks like in that same situation where you tell your parents, hey, I got accepted to this college. It's out of state. They have my major. Oh my gosh. I even found a roommate. Like, everything is lining up. And they're like, that college is too far and I don't want you to go that far, even for school. And you're like, okay, but I just said my dream major, like, that I've been searching for, they offer it. That's prevention. Because even as a parent, yes, they're fearful, like, oh my gosh, this is their first time out of the house. We don't know how they're going to be. And, I know my children are still small, they're 4 and 2, but that is something that I was a little upset with my mom about, because I had gotten accepted into a lot of out-of-state colleges, and my heart was set on Spelman, y'all. Fun fact, your girl got accepted to Spelman on a full ride academic scholarship, and my mom told me no. In hindsight, I was able to go to the military, meet my husband. I have a family now. But I mean, in that moment, I was really like, wow. Like, I really got accepted to this college and you told me no. What is going on? I mean, that thing had really, really hurt. I was like, dang, I really wanted to go to the school. And she was like, I mean, that's that party college. I don't want you out there. You're not going. And I didn't go. And like I said, in hindsight, things still, did what they're supposed to do. But, sometimes family members could really be preventing you. And of course, you're just going to have to use your discernment, praying about it and asking God to give you confirmation to really understand and decipher if this is the God in them or if this is the parent in them, because two can be the same. I mean, two things, they can both be, for example, when I say two in the same is they can be your parent and still hear from God and give you a word like, God, wants you to do this, blah, blah, blah. But they could also be leaning more into their parent side and, speaking to you, I don't want you to do, and that's not coming from God. That's coming from mama being nervous about her baby girl going off to college. She gonna be around boys. She gonna, ain't gonna be no, they not gonna be able to, watch after me, that whole thing. So parents, sisters, brothers, uncles, aunties, cousins, they mean well, but understand that sometimes they are getting in the way of God's plan. I'm not saying that's what my mom was doing. She had good intentions. And like I said, it actually ended up working out in the end. But, there's times where I don't do it often. Only, I guess, when I'm talking about it right here on the podcast, where I'm like, dang, I wonder, what would I have been doing at Spelman? Understand that God does not need our help to make it happen. I.e., if you are wanting to be that heart surgeon, you want to be a photographer, you want to be a model, and you're praying and you're like, God, this is something I want to do. He don't need your help to make that happen. If it's for you, it's for you. That's something in my adult age at 26 that I'm still having to remind myself, don't rush and stop trying to put the pieces together. If it's for you, it's for you. Okay? Okay. Number 2. Friendships. That's a whole growing pain in itself, okay? The evolution of toddler you to adult you is huge. Like, if we were meant to stay the same, we wouldn't have birthdays. If we were meant to stay the same, we wouldn't get taller, we wouldn't get bigger, smaller, grow gray hair. All of that is signs of change and evolution of you as a person, you as a human, you as an individual. If we were meant to stay the same, none of that stuff would happen. Imagine all of us being only like progressing to the age of like 5. Imagine a 5-year-old working as a cashier at Starbucks, a barista. That would be crazy. Like, what? What would the world be? You know, some people are able to keep their friendships from kindergarten all the way up until adulthood, and some of them even marry their kindergarten crush. Like, that is gorgeous and beautiful, but I had to realize and understand that that's not going to be the case for everyone, myself included. Because I used to hold on to people so tight around the neck where I'm like, I'm gonna be that ride or die friend. I'm gonna stick it through. They ain't gonna never say that I didn't come through for them, blah, 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 blah. And girl, you're just draining yourself. You're giving all out this extra energy that don't need to be given out. You're trying to be Superwoman and you are not. You are trying to be Mrs. Incredible. You might be thick in the hips, but baby, you don't have the flexibility that she had. And that's okay. Relax. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Like, what's going on? And, you know, growing pains can be attached to different things when it comes to friendships. Moving away. Now you guys aren't hanging out as much. You know, you get married. You're not as available as you used to be. I know that's how it was for me. Okay, like, girl, no, ma'am. I can't just get up and, leave my house at 3 a.m. because, you want to go grab a bite to eat. I need to ask my husband. And, he's very, he's pretty okay with stuff like that. But girl, if I'm being real, like 3 a.m., I don't want to just get out and do that no more. Like, you have to catch me on a better day. Having children is another growing pain with friendships. You're now responsible for another human being. Like, it's a different dynamic. I'm not saying it can't work because, me and my best friend, we're still best friends, even though I've gotten married and I've had children, and she's not married nor has any children. But sometimes that can be a growing pain because that friend that's been rocking with you since, 3-4 years, even 1 year, and it was before these major changes happened in your life, they are not used to you not being as available anymore. They used to be able to call you and say, girl, let's go pull up to his house and see what he doing with his new girl. And you're like, yeah, girl, bet. Let me put my shoes on. Swing by right now and I'm getting in the car with you. Or, they want to do these trips and stuff. And I'm not saying that when these life changes come, that can't still be a thing. Like, yes, you could still have time with your girlfriends, go out for a drink, go out, to the club or whatever it is that you like to do. However, I just feel like for me, that stuff was not, it's not the same anymore. And that was a growing pain for me. Even saying job related, you get promoted or you transfer to a new job, when you working with that crew at that job, that is like everything for you. And you're like, oh my gosh, like that's my girl. Like when you see your work friend walk in the door, you like, we about to cut up for the next 8 hours. These people don't even know. But your heart be broken when they're like, yes, sis, I'm getting moved to another store. Or yes, sis, I'm moving, I'm quitting. Like, sis, I needed a 2-week notice. So understand that each transition matters and their presence during that transition should be noted. I mentioned this in a previous, back in season 1 when I talked about mutually beneficial friendships. Like, pay attention to, what your friends are doing when big life changes are happening. And, even pay attention to how you're showing up for them, because if the scales are unbalanced, you have to look at the weight that's on each side and say, okay, she's pouring all into me and I'm not pouring into her. Okay, I need to do better, or vice versa. And then look at how frequent the scales get imbalanced. If it's always imbalanced on your end, you're not pouring in. Okay, sis, you might need to take a step back, cut the friendship off, or do better. Or, vice versa. If they are not up to par with you, you have to ask yourself, and I hope they're asking themselves too, like, are you a friend that's worth, keeping up with? Because some people, like, even though they're trying the best they can, it just is not enough. And that's even a growing pain with getting into the like the reality that this person is giving you everything that they can and it's just still not measuring up. That's a hard pill to swallow, even as an adult, especially if you've been rocking with this person and say, y'all have seen hard things together and y'all have made it through. And it's like letting somebody go like that, like it's almost like a little heartbreak. But, even me making this next transition that I'm going to make, I'm already thinking like, do I want to hold on to this person? Do I want to hold on to this person? Because are you even bringing something to my life that is promoting growth? And it's not knocking you as a person. It's just I'm evaluating our friendship. And are you truly giving me something? So that's number 2. Number 3 is marriage. Marriage is like being on a boat with waves that crash against the side. Some waves, they just, they kiss the side of the boat and you're like, you feeling like, a little up, little down. Some waves, they're a little bit more rowdy. They like, get your attention and you're like, oh, okay, like, oof. Then some waves are huge. And baby, those are the type of waves that come over the siding of the boat. And now you looking like you and your partner, you and your spouse are standing in water and you're like, oh Lord, what we about to do? One of us needs to jump ship. It's the extra weight on the boat. But, as long as you and your spouse hold hand in hand and y'all like, regardless of the fact whether the boat gets torn to pieces, we got our life jackets on and we are going to weather this storm together. That helps with the growing pain of marriage, because me and my husband are not the same people that we were when we first got married. We have grown. Some things are not the best, but that's with anything. And I am grateful that at 21, we got married at 20. He was 20, I was 21. I'm glad that we are not the same. We should not be the same people. So that's even something that I applaud and I'm grateful for, because if we were the same people from 6 years ago, there would be a big problem. A big problem. I'm not saying they have to be major changes, but like the communication should be better. The intimacy should be better. Y'all talking each other's love languages should be better. Like there should be some type of upward improvement between then and now. So understanding that even that is a growing pain, because you're no longer the same person that you are. You might not even like the same stuff. I know I used to like things that I do not even care for anymore. And now I've picked up new loves, like I've been, liking more pinks and stuff like that. And I remember I used to be like, oh, pink is such a girly color. Ugh. Every time they say girl or woman, pink is involved. The color pink, blah, blah, blah. And it's like now, y'all, the other day I put on some pink blush. Your girl was shook that pink could look like that on this skin. Okay, that's a whole nother podcast episode. But babes, just know I was feeling it. I was really feeling it. And once I got married and even joining the military, I realized that had separated me from my group of friends at the time. And that was for sure a growing pain for me. Because I'm like, babe, like, I'm hitting him up. Like, I see him all on Snapchat hanging out. Like, what is the deal? So I'm like, I'm making a group chat. Like, hey, what's up? What's up? What y'all doing? And one of them was so gracious enough to tell me. And I hope that y'all can experience these type of moments so that you know that it's not you. Or if you don't ever get this type of closure, that you're just able to just say, you know what, I see with my own eyes what's going on. And I know that I'm putting in forth effort. They're not reciprocating that. I'm going to now go on my merry way. But I know that that's harder. That's not as easy to do. But, one of them actually texted me individually and was like, hey, they are avoiding you because of this, this, this. And I was just like, whoa. You know how like you be like, okay, like, okay, me talking to your man, definitely, like you should unfriend me. Me stealing from you, you should unfriend me. Me talking about you, if it's something, crazy deep, that you don't approve of, okay, unfriend me. But the reasoning behind it, I was like, that was something so small in my eyes that I really did not think that it was worth all of y'all avoiding me for. So just understand that even losing friends, because of your changes can be a growing pain. And I know I said that under the bullet point of marriage, but it's literally once I got married, I realized that this group of fans had started to distance themselves from me, and I didn't understand why. So shout out to her for even telling me on the side what was really what was really going on. And, it hurt, but I learned to grow through that and to understand that, some people are going to just do, what they want to do at the end of the day. And there's nothing I could do about it. I even felt in my marriage that I was shedding a part of me. I mentioned it in the third bullet point, which was friends, that you shed a part of yourself when you are growing. You do. And it makes sense because there's just no way. So say even if you're growing in size, you shed your old shoe size, your old pant size, your old shirt size. Why would you not do the same thing in a spiritual sense? Or, with your friends, with your marriage, with your family, like you should be shedding old skin. Now, how often you shed the old skin, that's, respective to each person. But there should be some type of shedding that's happening because you are growing anew. Something is changing. It's no longer this, it's now that. And vice versa. So it was tough on the marriage aspect because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if especially because there was someone else involved. I'm like, I don't know if my husband's going to like this new me. Like, oh my God, oh my God. And I will honestly say it was like a natural change. It wasn't until like, either he would point it out or maybe I would notice it myself. Like, oh, I don't do that anymore. Okay, that's different. Or, oh, I like that now. Okay, that's different too. Very different. And that brings me to number 4, which is children. Children can be a growing pain. Becoming a mother, oh my gosh, it changed my outlook on life because I had switched over into survival mode and forgot about taking care of my doggone self once I became a mother. So that was a growing pain. I had changed my whole everything to be where my child was, in the forefront. My husband was in the forefront and then my child was next. And I mean, I was just putting in it. And I'm sure there were times where my husband felt like I wasn't even, paying attention to him. I was so mommy mode focused that I forgot about myself. I forgot that, hey, you're important too. You know that, right? Like, I totally had forgot that, hey, you have to still like do stuff that you like. You can't be so focused on this child that you forget, to do something nice for your own self. The growing pain that I experienced once I became a mother is I felt like it was so hard for me to relate to people that were not parents. Women that didn't have children, because when they're like, yeah, girl, we about to go to Cancun next week. You want to come? I'm like, I have to find a babysitter. I have to make sure that if my baby has appointments that my husband knows about, so we can take him. Like I'm thinking like, sis, I need a check. There's a checklist I have to go through before I can even say yes to the Cancun trip. Before I even look at my looking at my finances on the checklist, right? But I need to make sure like the first 3-4 bullets was baby this, baby that, make sure that he has this, make sure that he had all of that. So that was a growing pain because I just kind of felt like I wasn't able to go with the flow. And I never really was a go with the flow-ish type of person. Like, I like to be very planned. So even before I had children or got married, like if my girls wanted to go out, I'm like, okay, what time do we need to be ready? What time are we rolling out? What are we wearing? Like, I was not really like, oh, we can just do like maybe, okay, we could just meet up at, somebody's house and, just see what it's like. Okay, cool. But that's as much going with the flow as I was because, honey, I needed to know. So surprising me is very hard because I need to know what's going on. What are you doing? I'm not as bad as I used to be. If my husband tried to surprise me, I think he could. But first parts of the marriage, I'm like, why are you telling me to get in the car? What's going on? Where are we going? And so, like I said earlier, I put my husband first, then our child, and I didn't make room for myself. So I had to learn how to even fit myself back into my own life. How that happened? How that worked? But that was a growing pain I had to get through. That, listen, before you were wife, before you were mom, you are Shania first. And once you neglect Shania, wife and mom are soon to go out the window with it, because how are you going to be able to do that? Be there for them, be supporting, be active, be present, and you haven't even checked in with you today. You know, like having children didn't end me like I thought it did, but it ended the routine that I used to have. So that was a form of shedding, that routine of just get up and go, or, I could just, be out, say I'm going to Target, and then Target turns into TJ Maxx turns into Ulta turns into Starbucks, all of that. Like, no, I had to be definitely more intentional with my time and my space. I couldn't just do, any old thing anymore. I had people to think about, people to consider. And that was a growing pain for me. I was used to doing things my own way, being independent. I didn't need anybody. I spoke about that last episode. That survival mode of I don't need anybody. I can do this myself. I'm good. You might be good, but sweetheart, when it's cold outside, you're going to want somebody to snuggle with. So if you being mean all the time, I don't know who you about to snuggle with, okay? And that brings me to the last category, which is your career. Like women, for sure. I can only talk for women because I am a woman. That career, baby, that's a growing pain. Absolutely. I have a small business. I have the podcast, Unlearn Reborn ULRB Podcast LLC. And now I'm doing crochet. So one of the growing pains that I had, even with starting my small business, is trying to be connected with people that were like-minded, business-oriented, where we could grow together as business owners and even grow individually, with our business, right? I realized firsthand during COVID that people were so snooty with information. Like, sis, I'm not telling you to create my LLC. All I'm asking for is, this. All I'm asking for is when I file, do I have to put my actual address? Like, I was in so many groups, because at the time when everything had shut down, everybody and their mama opened up a business, right? So I was in a couple of these little groups, and they would have like lives, different random different days of the week where they would drop nuggets and, everything like that. Looking back at it, those people, no shade to them, they didn't know as much as I thought they knew. They really didn't. They didn't know as much as I thought that they knew. But because I was ignorant to, an LLC and business, I, flocked to them because I'm like, oh, they're showing their check stubs from Shopify. They're showing that, the girl strips that they're able to go on. They're showing, every aspect of their, the money side of their business. And I want to make money. I want to be like that. And that growing pain, man, that growing pain of figuring out that I can't speak for men. But women, baby, the cattiness that was in those chats, the cattiness that was in those Facebook groups was unprecedented, okay? Mean Girls times 12. And it's like, I don't understand why, as women, if you know something, either give it away or put a reasonable, and I emphasize reasonable price that's worth the give and the takeaway. I understand big name speakers, they can charge whatever the heck they want, and that's fine. And even you could charge whatever the heck you want. But it's like, I was realizing that, sometimes when they were charging X amount, the type of information that they were saying you're going to learn, it's like, baby, I could go Google this. And I get it. Like, you're paying for the convenience of them giving it all to you. But it was just, I didn't feel like it was really well thought. It seemed like it was just a quick turnover, money-making style, business. Oh, you want me to show you how to work Shopify? $50. And I can attest, I did have a $50 3-day Shopify course where I was going to literally be walking people through from start to finish. But there were people that were doing the same thing, quote unquote, and baby, they was not walking you through nothing. You're going to get a PDF saying sign up on Shopify.com. They have these amazing layouts. Pick them. You customize them as you want. Put your logo here. Make sure that it's nice and straight. And then, go ahead and start getting you an email list and get you some customers. I'm sorry, what? I paid you how much for what? That was a growing pain. Like, even though I've changed my plan a lot of times in my life, from wanting to be a teacher to being a heart surgeon to all the different other majors that I picked, I might have always changed my plan, but baby, I had a plan. Okay, I always had a plan. And even when I was unsure of my next move in my business, I had to remember that God gave me a vision. And I feel like it's a vision geared for women to teach them how to be confident within themselves and teach them how to present themselves, to the world or to their business, to their colleagues in a way that is wholesome, a way that will still get them what they want. Because hello, we're still trying to get something, whether it's a promotion, recognition, whatever, and get it in a way that doesn't involve you having to do to get ahead. Okay, like I don't ascribe to that. If that's what you want, hey, do you, but not me. I don't do that. So it was so many times where I was doubtful, especially during COVID. Like, oh my gosh, like, when my first business where I had a t-shirt business, I was just like, Lord, like, I'm not getting sales. I literally see people that are doing the same thing as me. Their business is booming. And I feel like, I closed the business, but I just feel like there were so many lessons that I learned there, that yes, there were 17,000 other people that had t-shirt businesses, but I gave you a way to do it, that you would attract a great audience, that you would attract, great traffic, and the way that I wanted you to do it. When God gives us things, do you really think he's concerned with all the other people that are doing that? No, because he created them as well, and he gave them those visions as well. So he's able to give you a vision, them a vision. Like he's like Oprah, like you get a vision, you get a vision, you get a vision. And he gives us the tools and the people and the space and the opportunity to create and fulfill that business, that mind, that purpose, all of that. And I found that in this career piece, I was so focused on trying to create this quote unquote team to help me do this and help me do that. And it's like, I had to repent a couple of times because I'm like, God, like you didn't tell me to do all of that. You just gave me an idea and just, sat back and to see what I would do with the idea. And it's like, I just want to encourage entrepreneurs, small business owners that listen, that vision that you have, don't give up on it. Regardless of what your analytics are saying, regardless of what your click rate is saying, your impression rate is saying on YouTube, regardless of how many followers you have on the platform, keep grinding out that vision. Keep writing it down and making it even more plain. Keep writing it over and over and over again, speaking it out loud, reading it out loud, all of that. Because there's a reason why that thing is still on you. There's a reason why you dream about it. There's a reason why when you talk to people, they say, girl, you should do a podcast. Girl, your makeup is bomb. If you had a business, I would so let you listen. It's not happenstance that people are telling you these things. These are little nuggets and little messages that God is giving to people to say to you. Those people might not even be religious, but it's still in God's plan for them to say those 4 words to you because you have been like, God, I don't know. And then boom, you see somebody at the gym. Girl, your eyebrows are really nice. You're like, yeah, I do them myself. Girl, wow. Do you, take clients? No, I don't take clients. Oh, well, girl, if you ever take clients, like, girl, hit me up. Y'all exchange numbers, boom. Stuff just doesn't happen. And I wish we, me included, would operate our lives more intentionally and not just like, oh, that just happened. Like, oh, girl, the stars align. No, God is trying to put you in position to get in place, to get ready. And some of y'all are going to let your dreams, that vision pass you right on by because you're not taking it seriously. In order to grow, sacrifices have to be made. That's the other part of that growing pain of your career. While people are asleep and you get that little nudge to get out of bed and go pray, or, you just have this overly nudge and pull to start Googling and researching this one thing, that's God trying to point you in that direction. Don't let it slip through your fingers because, yeah, he'll give you another opportunity, but, you're going to wait this time. You're going to wait. And sometimes we don't believe that we are ready for things. He knows. You may not have everything that you need at that very moment, but he's ready to elevate you in this time so that as you go, yes, he'll add more people to your train. He'll add the publicist. He'll add the web designer. He'll add the vendor list. But right now, he just wants you to post on social media that you do hair. That's what he wants you to do right now. You're trying to, if you're like me, you're like, okay, God, but I don't have this. And he's like, post, make a TikTok, send a tweet. Do what I'm telling you to do. I got the people. They're on their way, but I need to know, are you even going to just do the small things? Do the little stuff. So seriously, y'all, be encouraged and know that growing pains as an adult is normal. Is it painful? Yes. That's why it's called growing pains. It ain't called growing joyful. It's called growing pains. So yes, it's going to get a little tight, uncomfortable, all of that. But be encouraged that one, trouble doesn't last always. Joy does come in the morning. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You are on your way. If you are even able to listen to me right now, baby, you have purpose. Hello. That means that you were able to get up another day. Your ears work. Your eyes work because you was able to click on the podcast. Your hands work. All of that. I'm going to need you to start being more grateful for the little things. I get it. You have rent that's due, mortgage that's due, bills need to be paid, all of that. So do I. So do we. We all do. But try to take more time out of your day to just sit and be grateful for just one thing. Even in your disgruntled day, you're pissed off, there's something that you can be grateful for. And I want you to take more time to point that out and say, thank God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for that. Okay? Listen, how y'all like the podcast so far? I need y'all to rate the show. I haven't asked y'all to rate the show in a while because I just been forgetting. But listen, if you listen to Apple Podcasts, you can scroll down. And I think that's where you're able to give the show stars. Listen, of course, I would love 5 out of 5 stars. But I also like an honest review. So give me a rating. Put it there so I can go and see what y'all would feel I should improve on or whatever the case may be. Rate the show. Give me some love. Holla at me. Second order of business. Listen. I am still selling podcast merch and I will keep selling podcast merch. And where can you be like me with a Talk Soon sweatshirt or hoodie, a ULRB podcast t-shirt? Girl, I hear you. You need to go to www.ulrbpod.com and you click on fan merch in the top left banner and it'll show you everything I'm selling all in one place. Also, I crochet and I will crochet something for you if you'd like. So I have a Google Doc where you can place an order for a crochet ruffle bucket hat. It's beautiful. It's as beautiful as it sounds. Okay. I would love for you to place an order. And if that's something that you're interested in, the link is down below. It will be in the show notes. It will be on YouTube. So listen, it's even on my Facebook. So you're not going to miss it. I promise you're not going to miss it. It's going to be right there. Okay. Listen. Lastly, I would love for you to meet me back here same time next week, every Sunday, 9 a.m. EST, unless I tell you differently. Okay? I love y'all. Thank you for rocking with me and hanging with me to the end of the podcast episode. And as always, talk soon. Peace.